You like that? Okay, here we go. What you waiting? Oh, you're waiting on me. Here we go. See? Hey everyone, welcome back to the Walk Differently Now podcast. We're here at Sandbox Studio A again. I'm Jake. I'm here with my buddy Lamont. How you doing today?
Man, I'm glad to be here, buddy. We made it back to the studio.
Yeah, we did, man. It seems like it's been forever, right?
I know, a long time.
It's been a whole episode ago. So
That's it. Let's get it rolling.
Yeah.
We got number 2 coming at you.
yeah. Man, it's been great. Last week we talked a little bit about Walk Differently Now and how that got started, and some of the things that you were doing at work and having to take some time off. Remember that day that I came over and we sat on the couch? There was a particular book that you had read and that kind of mentioned some things that you had. It kind of exposed some of the things about your personality type.
Absolutely.
What memory do you have of that?
Yeah, I think that book was one of those books Mr. Paul gave me with a resource, and I think it was like the 5 Elements of Success or something, and it just kind of, that book really kind of showed me and my personality and how I handle things. It also talked about how other personalities, it actually breaks people into categories: fire, water, wind, and earth. So I learned that I was a fire wind, and but it just kind of but it also shares how you interact with other elements, so 4 elements of success. So it's really kind of cool. And one of the things, even reading that book, really kind of opened up my mind and my heart to really kind of see how I communicate, how I handle different situations. And as I was sharing it with you, for my last episode, we just kind of talked about how vulnerability and brokenness and just transparency, those things had me, that assisted in one of the readings that really kind of had me there,
Yeah.
And what I realized even after that day, I kind of shared where I was in my journey and laying there broken and wide open and needing to be healed. I gotta kind of share from the last perspective. I found out that the Lord, He doesn't just want to heal. He don't want to heal my foot. He want to heal my heart. He want to heal my soul.
Yeah.
So the Bible talks about, above all things, I pray that you be in good health and you prosper, even as your soul prospers. And my soul was depleted, and with it, I thought it was really interesting after sharing my story. I felt like, and I want to kind of transition because I felt like it unlocked, and you tell me, I think it unlocked or gave permission, or I don't know if it was a safe place, but you kind of share with me, for me sharing from the place that I was, it did something to you, and you ended up sharing some incredible information as well about you. So kind of tell us from that day, Walking Differently on January 24th, that place of brokenness, vulnerability, transparency. What did it do for you? Share about from your perspective.
Yeah, that was it was an interesting. The timing was very intriguing to me because January 24th, basically, all of January for many years has been a little bit bittersweet to me. There's everyone's like, oh, new beginnings, and where there's the pressure of New Year's resolutions.
Walking differently.
Yeah, walking differently.
I'm going to walk differently this year.
Yeah.
I'm going to exercise. I'm going to eat.
Yeah, we're going to do all these things differently now.
Right.
And for me, January was more of a downer month, simply because, when I was a lot younger, I was a teenager, and through some tragedy, I lost my father. Just getting into my teen years. And
how old were you?
I was 14.
And your dad passed?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was real sudden too. Unfortunately, there were some extenuating circumstances. There were some health issues that were underlying because of military service, and just not, taking care of himself the way he could have for a long time. And there was a time when my brother and I got into a huge fight, yelling and screaming at each other, and it was late at night. It was like 10 o'clock at night, and my dad got involved in it and kind of broke us up a little bit, and we all went to bed angry that night. And the next day, I came home, and instead of being able to go and apologize for my behavior and kind of let bygones be bygones, I actually walked into his room and found him on the floor, and he had suffered a heart attack, and it was too late. So that sent me into a very deep and dark place of depression. As you can well imagine, that was so for about the next 10 years of my life. I was checked out, emotional, just unavailable, kind of a walking time bomb. You never know when I was going to go off or what was going to set me off sometimes.
Let me ask you this,
Yeah.
Jake. Do you feel, did you feel like it's partially your fault, or the incident?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And it was hard to define that for a long time because the tragedy was so intense and the loss was so great that I didn't realize that I was carrying that level of pain within me, that self-blame, which is why I spent so many years in a state of self-loathing. Didn't like anything about myself. Anytime I thought I was about to have breakthrough, I'd find some way to self-sabotage any progress that I was about to experience. And it was through those really dark times when, unfortunately, I made an attempt on my own life as well. And it was in the darkest moment of that when all of those years and years of pain and the pressure that I was putting on myself, in an instant, it was completely gone, and I felt nothing but complete and total peace in my heart and in my life. And I knew.
Now, when was this?
This was 7-8 years later after my father had passed. Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
And it was so incredibly wonderful to feel that way. And I realized, in retrospect, of course, that was the presence of Jesus that finally was, that he knew that I was finally ready to let it all go.
Okay.
And so I did give my life to Jesus at that point, and I allowed his presence to begin to heal. And as you said, I found a way to have some of that spiritual pride, some of that things are working better for me now. So I began to become more passive aggressive with people than I had been, and I found a way to get what I wanted through my religious activities.
Okay.
And of course, blew my life up again.
Now, when you say your religious activities, give us the listeners a little.
It was mainly just I joined this really large church, and I was well known for being the apologetics guy and the guy that was on fire for the Lord. And I was doing all these things, all this activity. Yeah. And a lot of that I was doing to be seen, because for the first time in my life, I felt like I had something to give to the world.
Right.
And really what I was doing was I was pushing others down. I was using my own version of what you discussed last week of my pride, which was mainly just trying to make myself feel better because I still had underlying issues and brokenness that I hadn't addressed.
Now, isn't it interesting? It's a fine line in us finding Christ and beginning to do better, whether it be through healing, whether it be through the Word of God, whatever it is, prayer, and we get better. But then there's that slippery slope where we get to looking at everybody else like you're not getting better, and we in that hierarchy of
I did the same thing you did.
Okay. How do we
common,
get here? Yeah.
Well, it's common to all people. I think we all have that a level of brokenness that we bring to everything in life, and it's only through the healing presence of Jesus that we're able to work out some of those things for ourselves and for others. Because, getting back to kind of the January side of things, my wife and I, we've been married for 15 years now, and she knows how important my dad was to me, and how that event shaped so much of my previous life, and her presence really brought so much healing to me. So we wanted to honor my father. So every year on the anniversary of his passing, we would have what we call Ray Day. My dad's name was Ray, and we would go out and we would do something fun. But I always kind of made it a somber event too. It was always more reflecting on his passing rather than on his presence, the things that he was able to give to me. So the day that I came over here, January 24th of last year, and when you started being really vulnerable and really open and transparent and honest with where you were, that made an impression on me, in that vulnerability begets vulnerability.
That's good.
And I was able to actually be truly honest with myself and say, hey, I don't have to continue to walk the same way. I can walk differently now too. And so instead of we still went out the next day, but it felt different. It felt lighter. It felt more peaceful to me. Mm-hmm. And, since then it was like another switch flipped on in my heart to say, I don't have to hold on to the memory of his pain. I don't have to, not his pain necessarily, but the pain that those tragic events caused to me. So, and it was only through the healing presence of Jesus that I was able to do that. But it was the catalyst for that event in this case was your vulnerability. You were helping me to see that I was approaching things in the same way that I had been for so long, and I was walking with a limp. My spiritual walk had a limp in it, so I needed to have my own version of heart surgery as well. So those days were so impactful for me in my heart, and able to allow me to be able to express myself differently, to walk differently, and to be a better example for my family as well.
That's good. And I think definitely as men, as Christians, as the body of Christ, I guess in the best case scenario, I think we all need that space to where we can, it's almost like the Garden of Eden, be naked and unashamed. Because in society today with, where we are today, everybody has to wear a mask. We have to present an image. Images is a big thing. We're looking at images and we scroll in every image, and not to mention AI. You can be whoever, whatever you want to be. But I think that it's a trick of the enemy to allow us to feel that we need to be these different images. Successful. I'm like I'm balling out. I'm the bomb. And consequently, a lot of times it's only one image. God said, "Let us make man in our image," and that image is so. A lot of times, I think it's just so much junk on top of it. Where's So even with me and that pride, and I'm a Christian. I love the Lord. I'm doing good things, but it's something like I want people to see me. I want you to see that. And it's not for him. A lot of times it's for us. So I think getting back to that image of a place where you can say, well, you can be vulnerable, where you can be naked. You know what? I'm a mess on my best day with Jesus. And you can come to a safe space, where, and like for me, you realize, when I had my surgery, you realize that it's just you and the Lord. People call you for a couple of weeks, hey man, I'm gonna come see you, I'm gonna do this, and that kind of goes away. And then you're stuck with a lot
with some of the things that we were doing.
Yeah. And then you're stuck with you.
Yeah.
And now when you're stuck with you, you're stuck with the Lord, and the Lord can really, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want, I maketh thee lie down. Sometimes I feel he has to make us lie down, in still pastures to restore our soul. And, but I think it was just so interesting how you felt safe enough to share, to go there.
Yeah. It was one of those things that vulnerability begets vulnerability. And in order for us to take the mask off, we don't need to have an example of that, but it's helpful when you have somebody that's willing to go there so that then other people can start to demask as well. Mm-hmm. And then once we all actually see each other as we truly are, which is broken and being healed, then, once we get to that point, then true breakthrough can happen with our spiritual walk, but our friendship with each other. Because, you scroll through, all the time and you're like, oh, you can tell some people are still caught up in the trying to impress other people game by things that they present themselves as. And eventually it turns up hollow. And the only way to truly know somebody is to be open and honest yourself. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully if they feel comfortable, they'll begin to do the same.
Yeah. And I think that, and it's so much we need to, and we will unpack with those things. But I even think even from a perspective of how come we can't go to I won't say we, I'll just say in a lot of cases, why do we as Christians, we go to church but we keep our mask on? We go to church with all of our stuff, and I'm blessed and highly favored. I'm doing this, and I'm doing this for the Lord. But the truth of the matter is, a lot of us are walking with limps and need heart surgery. But there's a need for us to present ourselves as on top. When if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves, that humility. Humble themselves, that's missing in today's society, that the world needs to see, as Christians and believers. I think if the body of Christ was that place to where we could all just say, hey, you know what, and go in, and the body and the church be okay. Can I come if I got tattoos, if I got, piercings in my face and, all this stuff? Can I go in there and do what you did? Or, just say, hey, I'm a mess, But I think sometimes the world does a better job of accepting the broken, the misunderstood than we have. And, I think those places, I think we need places, safe places, where we can be vulnerable, broken, and just say, hey, I'm here, and not be judged.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think unfortunately that a lot of, especially the larger churches, there's so much activity, it's easy to get lost in the mix. Mm-hmm. There's so many programs which are good to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
But sometimes it's just, there's so much production, there's so many moving parts that we need these things done. And if somebody's kind of needing some assistance and some help, hopefully they're able to provide that in a way that doesn't disrupt what's going on. But sometimes maybe those things have to be disrupted a little bit in order to for the part that's suffering to receive the care that it needs.
All right. That's good. And I think even with walking differently, I think we're both learning how to, even with this venture, mm-hmm. I think it's something that the Lord you saw yourself doing this how many years ago?
Oh my goodness. I was probably 9 or 10 when I first started becoming intrigued by broadcasting and radio and all of those things. Yeah. Very intrigued by that.
Yeah. And I think you got a great, I messed with you about your radio voice. I think you made for this, man, honestly. And I think you're going to do great, but even being able to walk differently and you saying, hey, I'm going to do this, and even for me, don't know anything about this. I appreciate the opportunity to kind of say, hey, this is something and try to help birth something that the Lord has put on your heart, but it's also been a blessing to me to kind of us to walk alongside each other, and learn to walk differently together. So I just want to say I appreciate you bringing me on board. And
absolutely, man. There's nobody else I'd rather do it with.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
It's so, this is not our comfort zone exactly,
No, that's what I said.
We got cameras and cameras
it's
and cameras and lights
Yeah.
and all this. It's like,
I'm a fish out of water for real.
And you know what? That's fine. We're going to work our way through it. And I'm not going to put all the pressure to have to do it perfectly,
Right.
which I think we all have a little bit of the perfectionism to make it work right.
We do.
And I'm just going to walk with it. We've got our buddy JJ over here on
JJ's
cameras
amazing.
over there.
Oh, thank God for
Man, look at
JJ.
this.
Yes, it. That's
So
it.
yeah, we're going to get it done, not because we want to get it done, not because we feel comfortable or need to get our name out, but simply because there's something the kingdom needs that we provide.
Yeah, that's good.
Not only are we so totally different, we each have incredibly broken stories of places that we came from, and
Absolutely.
we have so many things that we've done that were really, really good and dynamic, but there have also been things that we've done that we're kind of ashamed of.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And we don't mind necessarily, we're not going to live in shame. We're not going to hide the things that we've done because we're scared that people are going to think bad things about us. But what we are going to do is be open, be vulnerable, be honest, say, hey, here's the things we've done. This is the healing that we've had. And here are the next steps.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to get into some of those next steps at some point really soon, because we've got some pretty incredible things on the docket that we're wanting to get to.
Absolutely. And I definitely, like I said, as we walk differently, we're asking others to, come along and walk with us, because the truth of the matter, although we walk differently on so many different levels, the world needs to see us stand together. And I think that's the Bible says, how can you love me, never saw me, and you don't love the person next to you? And so I look forward to standing with you, my brother.
Man, it's going to be great.
Yes, sir. That's it.
Look forward to it.
That's it.
Oh, thank you, Lamont. Love you, man. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. We're so thankful for you. We know that this is all new. We got some things going on that we haven't quite talked about yet, and you have to have some questions. We're so thankful that you chose to spend your time with us. Please get in touch with us. We want to know if there are topics you want to hear us talk about, or things that you have that you want to hear us discuss. We're here for you guys and for each other. So thank you so much, and we can't wait to talk to you in the next episode.
Appreciate it, my brother.
Thank you.